Hi students. The chapter People as Resource is an effort to explain population as an asset for the economy. Population is an asset for the economy. It is an asset rather than a liability. Population becomes human capital when there is investment in education, healthcare, and medical services. In fact, human capital is the stock of skill and productive knowledge embodied in them. People as resource is a way of referring to the country's working people in terms of their existing productive knowledge. Looking at the population from this productive aspect, emphasis is its ability to contribute to the creation of gross national product or GDP. Like other resources, population also is a resource, a human resource. This is the positive side of a larger population that is often overlooked when we look only at the negative side, considering only the problems of providing the population with food, education, and access to health facilities. When the existing human resource is further developed by becoming more educated and healthy, we call it human capital formation. That adds to the productive power of the country, just like physical capital formation. Investment in human capital through education, training, medical care yields a return just like investment in physical capital. This can be seen directly in the form of higher incomes earned because of higher productivity of the more educated or the better trained persons, as well as the higher productivity of healthier people. Hi students, today we'll be talking about human capital as a factor of production. Human capital includes people, their ideas, their productivity, etc. Not only do the more educated and healthier people gain through higher incomes, society also gains in numerous ways, numerous indirect ways, because of the advantages of more educated and healthier population. In fact, human capital is in one way superior to other resources like land and physical capital. Human capital is one way superior to other resources like land and physical capital. Human resource can make use of land and capital. Human resource can make use of land and capital, but land and capital cannot make uses on their own. Population need not be a burden for the economy. For many years, people thought of population as a liability rather than an asset. For many years, people thought of population as a liability more than an asset. But it can be turned into a productive asset by investment in human capital, for example, by spending resources on education and health for all, training of industrial and agriculture workers in the modern technology. Investment in human resource via education and medical care can give high returns in the future. Investment in human resource via education and medical care can give high rates of returns in future. This investment on the people is same as investment in land and capital. This investment on people is the same as investment in land and capital. A child too, with investments made on her education and health, can yield a higher return in the future in the form of higher earnings and higher contributions to the society. Educated parents are found to invest more heavily on their child's education as they have realized the importance of education. Countries like Japan have invested in natural resource. Countries like Japan have invested heavily on human resource. These countries are called developed or rich countries. Japan is a country which has to import all of its natural resource from other countries because it doesn't have sufficient natural resource. The only resource that they have is human resources. So they have invested heavily on human resources in the form of education and health of its people. So these people started using land and capital in order to make resources and provide money to the economy. These people have made efficient use of other resources like land and capital. Efficiency and the technology evolved by people have made these countries rich and developed. The various activities have been classified into three main sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Primary sector involves agriculture, forestry, animal husbandry, fishing, mining, etc. Manufacturing is included in the secondary sector. Trade, transport, communication, banking, education, and other services are included in the tertiary sector. The activities in this sector result in the production of goods and services. These activities are called economic activities. Economic activities have two parts: market activities and non market activities. Market activities involve remuneration to anyone who performs activity performed for pay or profit. These include production of goods or services, including government service. Non-market activities are the production for self-consumption. Hi students. The quality of the population depends upon the literacy rate, health of a person indicated by life expectancy, and skill formation acquired by the people of the country. The quality of education depends upon the literacy rate, health of a person indicated by life expectancy, and skill formation acquired by the people of the country. The quality of the population ultimately decides the growth rate of the country. The quality of the population ultimately decides the growth rate of the country. Literacy and healthy population are an asset. Literacy and healthy population are an asset. Hi students. Documents of Union State governments, Reserve Bank of India show that the expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP has declined to 2.7% in 2017 and 2018. The literacy rates have increased from 18% in 1955 to 74% in 2010 and 2011. Thus, a huge jump. Literacy is not only a right, it is also needed if the citizens are to perform their duties and enjoy their rights properly. However, a vast difference is noticed across different sections of the population. Literacy among males is nearly 16.6% more than literacy among females, and it is about 16.1% in higher urban areas compared to rural areas. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan is a significant step towards providing elementary education to all children in the age group of 16 to 14 years by 2010. It is a time-bound initiative of the central government in partnership with the states, the local governments and community for achieving the goal of universalization of elementary education. These policies could add to the literate population of India. The 12th plan endeavored to raise the country's gross enrollment ratio in higher education in the age group of 18 to 23 years to 25.2% by 2017 and 2018, and to reach the target of 30% by 2020 to 2021, which is in line with the world's average. Hi students, let's talk about health. Health is a very important quality of factor when ensuring the economy runs well. Improvement in the health status of the population has been the priority of the country. Our national policy too aims at improving the accessibility of healthcare, family welfare, and nutrition service with a special focus on the underprivileged segment of the population. Over the last 5 decades, India has built a vast health infrastructure and also has developed the manpower required at primary, secondary, and tertiary sector in government as well as in the private sector. These measures, which have been adopted, have increased the life expectancy to over 68.3 years in 2014. Infant mortality rate has come down from 147 in 1955 to 34 in 2016. Crude birth rates have dropped to 20.4 and death rates to 6.4 within the same duration of the time. Increase in life expectancy and improvement in child care are useful in assessing the future progress of the country. Increase in longevity of life is an indicator of good quality of life. Hi students, let's talk about basic health facilities and, and unemployment. In India, there are many places which do not even have basic health facilities. In India, there are many places which do not have even basic health facilities. There are only 381 medical colleges and 301 dental colleges in India. Just four states like Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu have the maximum number of colleges. Unemployment is said to exist when people who are willing to work at the going wages cannot find jobs. Unemployment is said to exist when people who are willing to work at the given wages are not able to find jobs. The workforce population includes people from 15 years to 59 years. The workforce population includes people from 15 years to 59 years. In case of India, we have unemployment in rural and urban areas. However, the nature of unemployment differs in rural and urban areas. In case of rural areas, there is seasonal and disguised unemployment. Urban areas mostly have educated unemployment. Seasonal unemployment happens when people are not able to find jobs during some months of the year. Seasonal unemployment occurs when people are not able to find jobs during certain months of the year. People dependent upon agriculture usually face such kind of problem. People dependent on agriculture usually face such kind of problem. There are certain busy seasons when sowing, harvesting, weeding, and threshing. Certain months do not provide much work to the people dependent on agriculture. In case of disguised unemployment, people appear to be employed. For example, there is an agriculture plot where the family members are engaging in agriculture activity. The work requires the service of 6 people but engages 8 people. 3 people are extra. These 3 people also work in the same plot as the others. The contribution made by 3 extra people does not add to the contribution made by the 5 people. If 3 people are removed, the productivity of the field will not decline. This field requires the service of 5 people and the 3 extra people are disguised unemployed. This field requires only service of 5 people, so these 3 extra people are disguised unemployed. In case of urban areas, educated unemployment has become a common phenomenon. In case of urban areas, educated unemployment has become a common phenomenon. Unemployment leads to wastage of manpower resource. Unemployment leads to wastage of manpower resource. People who are an asset for the economy turn into a liability. Hence, unemployment has detrimental effect on the overall growth of the economy. Hence, unemployment has a detrimental effect on the overall growth of the economy. Increase in unemployment is an indicator of the depressed economy. Increase in unemployment is an indicator of depressed economy. It is also a wastage of resource.